But the one thing before we get out of here, Egor Zavragin, Charlie, you can run us through his situation a little bit, and then let's go.
Yeah, so this has been rumored for a couple weeks. Today, apparently, it was finalized. He was traded to SKA, which is the overarching team that has the rights to Matvei Michkov, which is interesting. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for his career on a number of levels because not only was he traded to SKA, he was then signed to a 3-year contract, which, as we see with Michkov, unless they find a way out of it, that means that Zavragin is going to spend the next 3 years in Russia. I don't think this is a bad thing, though. I don't think this is in any way, shape, or form a bad thing. Here's what you got to understand about Zavragin's situation. He was with an organization in Russia, like a Russian league organization, their team he was with this year, that did not have a KHL team. So the highest that he could go up in that organization was to the VHL. The VHL is essentially the KHL's version of the AHL. He could only get to second-tier hockey with that organization. The fact that he was traded to SKA is a good thing because that means that now, in theory, he can play KHL hockey. Now, it's certainly not a guarantee that he will play KHL hockey this year. There are a few different routes that SKA can take. They could, in theory, have him be on their big team, the team that they have designs on winning the Gagarin Cup every year. Like, that is their big team. He could make that team and be a 20-year-old goalie for them, and that would be awesome. And, like, hell yeah, I'd love to see that. They also could do what they did with Michkov, which is loan him to Sochi, which is the other team that they basically run that is more or less their farm system that is also in the KHL. So he would be getting KHL games, so KHL experience, but not on a premier team because they basically park him there because they don't have a spot for him available or they don't think he's ready to play on the big KHL club. Or this is also an option. He's real young. He's only going to be in his draft plus 2 season. They could send him down to their VHL affiliate, and he could get a full season of essentially minor league KHL hockey. I don't know how it's going to play out. What I can tell you is that the 3-year contract should not be concerning to anyone. No. The next couple years, that's going to be spent here in Philly, figuring out what you have in Sam Ersson, what you have in Alexei Kolosov, what you have in Ivan Fedotov. Parking him in Russia for a few years and letting him develop over there, I don't think that's a bad thing at all because I never viewed him as a guy who was going to be ready in a year or two anyway.
Half the best goalies in the league right now came over in their mid-20s after spending time in Russia. This is fine. This is totally fine.
If I had to guess, my guess is that he will either be on Sochi or in the VHL. I am not expecting him to be on SKA, but they traded for him, so I guess you can't rule it out entirely.
Can we get to call SKA Flyers East now? The Flyers East.
I mean, do we want to? Because they won't even play Michkov. That's the problem.
That's for the best.
Sochi might be Flyers East.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If he gets loaned,
I don't want
Michkov's coming over anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
We all silly like the mayor.